Imagine turning into one of the world's most celebrated pageants expecting elegance, culture, and global unity, only to find an event quietly slipping into disarray. Miss Universe 2025, held in Bangkok and won by Mexico's Fatima's Bosch, become a surprising blend of achievement and behind-the-scenes complications. From contestants' walkouts to judges stepping down, the situation raised valid questions about transparency and management. And just to be clear, everything here comes from reputable sources like NPR, CNN, and the BBC. So let's break down how a night meant to highlight empowerment ended up revealing some uncomfortable truths about the industry. When Miss Universe 2025 opened its stage in Bangkok November 21st, the world expected a polished production, something sleek, glamorous, and inspiring, as pageants have marketed themselves for decades, of course. Instead, viewers quickly realized they were watching an event quietly fraying at the seams. And that unraveling didn't begin on coronation night, it started weeks earlier, long before Fatima Bosch stepped on stage to accept the crown for Mexico. To understand how chaos unfolded, we need to rewind to the early days of November. According to a detailed timeline compiled by Business Insider, tensions had been simmering beneath the surface from the moment contestants arrived in Thailand. What was supposed to be a month of rehearsals, charity events, and cultural showcases instead became a sequence of missteps and uncomfortable moments that would eventually push the organization into global headlines. Strangely enough, it wasn't wardrobe malfunction or onstage slip-up that caused the uproar. It was the behavior of the adults running the show. The turning point emerged on November 5th during a pre-pageant event that, in hindsight, probably deserved a crisis management team on standby. As reported by the BBC, a Thai organizer publicly chastised Miss Mexico, Fatima Bosch, during what was supposed to be a routine appearance. No cryptic hints, no subtle tension, just a direct, very public scolding that left both contestant and staff stunned. And if there's anything beauty pageants promote, it's grace under pressure. But expecting competitors to stand politely through an unprovoked reprimand might be pushing the boundaries of professionalism. Fatima Bosch, however, wasn't having it, in what many viewers later called one of the boldest moments in recent pageant history. She walked out, not dramatically, not theatrically, just decisively. No flowns, no tears, no camera chasing exit, and that quiet firmness struck a chord. One by one, other contestants followed her lead, forming an impromptu solidarity movement that no pageant PR handbook could have predicted. While walkout itself are common in politics, entertainment union, and major sports league, they are remarkably rare in international pageants, which usually maintain a certain image of harmony. So when contestants joined Bosch's stand, the industry took notice. It was more than personal loyalty. It was a silent critique of the environment they had been placed in. This moment also exposed broader issues with pageant culture, respect, support systems, and the expectation that contestants must remain composed no matter what happens around them. If anything, the walkout reminded audience that behind the flawless and dazzling gowns, these are real individuals navigating very real pressure. And just when it seemed the situation couldn't escalate any further, it did. Within weeks of the walkout, 2 judges resigned, and this time the concerns were systemic. As reported in Elle comprehensive breakdowns, the judges cited concern about favoritism, inconsistent decision-making process, and what they implied might be less than transparent practices behind the scenes. While the word corruption is often thrown around casually online, the judges' exit gave those speculations an uncomfortable amount of weight. Their resignation sparked serious questions. If the people responsible for evaluating contests are no longer trusted the system, how could the public trust the outcome? The Miss Universe organization, known for this tightly curated image, suddenly faced a credibility problem that couldn't be solved by a perfectly timed commercial break. This wasn't merely a drama, it was about operational integrity. And in a way, it was a reminder that even global organizations with decades of history aren't immune to structural flaws. As all of this unfolded, the contestants continued preparing for the finale. Rehearsals went on, media interviews proceeded, the show as always had to go on. But the atmosphere reportedly changed. According to coverage from CBC, the event began to feel tense, less like a celebration and more like a production held together by determination and duct tape. The audience didn't know the full extent of the issue, however, but they could sense that something was different this year. Then came the night of November 21st. Under the bright stage lights, Fatima Bosch delivered what many called a composed and commanding performance. When her name was announced as the winner, the crowd responded with enthusiasm, but also with a lingering sense that the victory was unfolding against a backdrop of unresolved questions. CBC described the moment as a dramatic victory, not simply because of the pageant format itself, but because the win stood atop weeks of turbulence. Online reaction mirrored this split. Supporters praised Bosch, calling her triumph symbolic, especially after the public confrontation earlier in the month. Many celebrated her confidence and professionalism, framing her win as a testament to resilience. But the others wondered whether the controversy surrounding the event had overshadowed the competition itself. Were fans celebrating the winner, or merely relieved that the chaotic season had finally concluded? Discussion on social media reflected a curious mixture of admiration, skepticism, and fatigue. The story didn't end with the crown. Post-event coverage shifted from the glamour of the finale to analysis of what this controversies meant for Miss Universe as a brand. According to The Guardian, the organization now faces increased pressure to re-evaluate its internal systems, leadership communication, and expectations for transparency. The article described the event as full of fury and feuds, emphasizing that public trust may not be easily restored. And that's where the broader image of implications start to emerge. Pageants have long positioned themselves as platforms for empowerment, philanthropy, and cultural exchange. But the Miss Universe 2025 controversies highlight a tension between these ideals and the realities behind the scenes. If empowerment is the mission, how do organizers ensure contestants feel genuinely supported? If fairness is the goal now, how can judging systems remain beyond approach? And if global unity is the message, how do internal conflicts reflect on the entire operation? These questions, of course, don't have any easy answers, but they're necessary ones. The scandals of 2025 may become a turning point not just for Miss Universe, but for pageants worldwide. Transparency, professionalism, and respect aren't optional when your brand is built on representing the best of global womanhood. Fatima Bosch Queen will undoubtedly be remembered, but so will the context in which it happened. A reminder that behind the crown lies a complex industry navigating evolving expectation and modern scrutiny. In the end of the day, Miss Universe 2025 will be remembered as a fascinating blend of achievement and upheaval. Fatima Bosch may secure the crown, but the journey there revealed far more than a winner. It exposed the pressure, fractures, and growing expectations shaping modern pageants. From walkouts sparked by public disrespect to judges stepping down over concern about fairness, this year forced the organization into a global spotlight in ways it probably didn't anticipate. With trusted reports from NPR, CNN, BBC, CBC, and others, the conversation shifted away from sequins and spotlights toward transparency, accountability, and the future of the industry itself. And maybe that's the value of everything that unfolded, a reminder that even long-established institutions must evolve. Pageants can continue to celebrate confidence, culture, and advocacy, but only if the systems behind them hold up to the same standards they expect from the women on stage. As that glitter settles, we are left with lessons worth discussing, questions worth to ask, and a story worth reflecting on. And as always guys, stay kind, stay curious, stay critical. See you guys in the next video. Bye bye.